Oh, Lottie, afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And you?
I'm really well, thank you. Very well indeed. And just for anyone who's watching, this is Lottie Trump. No relation, I take it.
No, no relation.
From Cubie Education, who are working closely with school notices, promoting the amazing business you've got. And I just wanted today just to have a real chat about kind of why you set it up, how it's going, who it helps, what it does, all that sort of stuff, so we can familiarize our members and schools and whatever who are looking at this as to what you do. So why don't you kick off with, why don't you introduce us tell us a little bit about Cubie, why you set it up, and then a bit of background.
Sure. So I was a teacher for 10 years in prep schools in Dorset.
Yeah.
And then I left full-time teaching to be a private tutor. So I set up a little tutoring business in Dorset. And what I was finding is that, and then especially through lockdown, was that parents were asking for extra in between sessions, especially in maths. And I thought, well, what can I give them that's extra to keep the children going, to keep them engaged in between sessions, to make sure they don't forget the concepts that we're going over. And I sort of did some research and looked and see what was available at the time. And a lot of it was online. And I know a lot of the parents and children that I teach just love having a piece of paper and doing it on pen and paper.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really anything available. So I sort of came up with this idea that, well, why don't I create my own version? And then that's sort of how Cubie came about. And then along with a team of teachers and my husband, we've sort of set up the different levels, starting at reception year 1 and year 2 at the moment, hopefully then expanding up to year 6 eventually, to just provide children with that daily reinforcement of maths that is not seem to be available elsewhere.
And this isn't online. This is a hard product. This is a product that you deliver, and,
yes.
and parents use it with their children on an ongoing basis.
Yes, so it's a monthly box that their children receive through the post, and there's 4 work booklets for the children and a parents booklet. There's a rewards poster and stickers and pencils and anything else they might need. And yes, so the children work on it for 10 to 15 minutes each day, and it's all color coded so they can see how much to do each day, with a stop sign telling them to stop at the end of the day. And it's as much as possible. The idea is for the children to do it independently as well, right, even from a young age. So yeah. It's encouraging those positive daily habits, promoting independent learning. Obviously, the parents can get involved as well if they'd like to, but the children should be able to just sort of sit down and do their Cubie each day. And yeah.
And that philosophy of, I love you got to stop, right? So I guess the temptation is to keep going because you're doing more. But this, you say on your website, the little and often thing is quite important, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, at schools, teachers will always say, to the parents, make sure that you read for 10 minutes every day. It really helps to build vocabulary. But there's not really, until Cubie, the equivalent for maths. So doing a little bit each day really helps to keep those skills fresh in their minds. It helps to reinforce what they're doing at school. This is sort of in addition to schoolwork. So it's supporting what they're doing at school. It all follows the national curriculum throughout the year. And it's just a little and often steady approach. It's not jumping ahead to do things that they've not covered yet. It's all covering things that they will have covered at school, but just reinforcing that the 2 times table, just going over it so that they remember it, and it goes deep into their memory.
And how does this differ? It differs in a lot of ways, I can tell from private tutoring, but what's the benefit of this over something like a private tutor or a tutoring company?
So, I mean, as a private tutor, I do a bit of both. So private tutoring I would still say is great for covering specific things. So if a child wants to go over fractions, you can go over fractions, or a specific test that's coming up that they want to sort of prep for, get ready for, and feel more confident in. But the difference with Cubie is that because it's the little and often, it builds up over time. Whereas tutoring, you might just have 1 session a fortnight or 1 session a week. It's great if you just want a blast of a lesson for half an hour. Yep. But then a week passes and then you often have to recap or go over things. So it is very different. It also, the 10, 15 minutes a day of Cubie equals 5 hours of work per month. Well, a child probably isn't going to have 5 hours worth of private tuition each month.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't fit into the school day, and it's just not feasible in term time. So just having that 15 minutes a day really does make a difference.
Yeah, I get it. And I guess this must have gone down well during COVID, right? This is quite a good product for home learning and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, well, we actually only started this year, so although it's now fully launched and it's out there in families' homes, and it's up and running, it was sort of being developed through COVID. And I did send out some trial booklets here and there to see what people thought. And they were like, yeah, this is great, this little and often approach. And screen free was really popular with the younger children, especially, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. You don't want them necessarily on a screen all the time. Yeah. Especially during lockdown, where a lot of learning was being done on a screen. Yeah. It gets them using their pencils, lots of pencil control from an early age. So yeah, it was really popular.
Fits in quite neatly actually to how the world has gone post-COVID, because a lot of those exercises or routines we got into through COVID with being on a screen the whole time, we are keeping a few of those, but it's quite nice, as you say, to go back to basics where it's very much in the person and face to face in a way.
Yes, yeah, and there's something really satisfying having something tangible. For children especially, they love, in some of the boxes we include a big wooden dice, or we include, rulers and things that they can actually use, and it's really, that's part of the excitement as well, which you don't often get on a screen. You've got these resources in front of you to use, which is really great and it saves parents having to scrabble around for pencils or this or that.
I think that saves parents time in having to think about how to do all this is genius. And so it's literally you sign up to monthly delivery, get a box. Yeah. It's sort of gusto for children, for brain.
Yeah. So you can either sign up for monthly, or you can sign up for the year, and then you get your monthly box delivered every month in time for the start. And it starts. I mean, you can do it whenever. It's 5 days worth in each booklet, but you might want to do 2 days at the weekend if your weeks are particularly busy, or it just adapts and fits to busy households and busy lifestyles, because we know how busy families are.
But if I'm a parent looking at this, what's the sort of target age group? Who are you aiming at?
So at the moment we've got levels A, B, and C, which are reception year 1 and year 2. Yeah. So sort of 3+ to 7, 8. But I've got children who I'm tutoring who have just gone into year 4, who are actually starting the year 2 box because they've missed so much, and because they want to just recap and make sure they've got those real foundations, those basics really nailed before they move on. So it's actually a lot more flexible. And if on the other end, if you've got a very young child who's very much ahead of where they should be or could be, then they could always do the level B box. So there's no restriction on levels and age groups. It's absolutely, you can pick to suit your child.
Brilliant. One question that has struck me: how did you come up with your name? Why Cubie?
Oh, well, that was one evening, my husband and I, we just decided to sit down. We wanted it to be a noun. So we wanted it to be a thing that you would be in a household, and for a parent to say, have you done your X? Yeah. So we didn't want, have you done your mass subscription box? Have you, something a bit long-winded. So it needed to be short. It needed to be maths related, because it's got the cube. And then obviously down the logo with the eye, it's got a little cube on it. And then so we both came up with 50 names, and out of that, Cubie was born, really. It just sort of came out of,
I love that
combination of those factors. So
that's great, much more attractive than our name. School notices.
That's what it says. That's what it says on the tin.
It says on the tin, I suppose. What's next now? So what's next for Cubie? What's the sort of, is there a kind of a development plan or a growth plan?
Yes, so we're currently developing the year 3 and year 4 curriculum to launch next year. So we'll have 5 levels by next September. And then we're actually now looking at how to provide it in different countries. So I've got some tutoring clients in Australia and America who have had trial boxes to see how they get on. They love it. So we're hoping to sort of expand and see if we can get it sort of set up in other countries as well. So Yes, lots to do.
Good for you. I mean, it's also so exciting. So it was set up when, like, not even a year ago.
Yeah, not even a year ago. Yeah, so last November, December time.
Early stages. I can't see a grey hair anyway. What's gone wrong? You've obviously been much better than we have. Tell me, if people want to get hold of you, what's the best way to get hold of you?
So they can visit our website, which is cubie-education.com.
Right.
Or they can email hello@cubie-education.com. But yeah, the website's got lots of information. They can sign up to the newsletter. There's a contact page. Lots of information there. They can.
Excellent. All right, well, Lottie, that's really kind. I'll let you go now. I'm sure you're busy. And thanks so much for that. Really, really interesting. And I've got old children now, but I would have loved a bit of this when they were younger, for sure. For sure. All right, well done. Lovely to talk to you.
Thanks very much. Okay, bye.